obviously not credulous enough to accept this is where I've ended up. Doing the work of at least 3 lackeys. A full half-dozen automechs, all by my lonesome. I'd welcome you to be consumer, but we are not a retail operation. Please visit the various consumer locations around Fairfield for all your purchasing needs. I have far too many claims on my time to be able to cater to the curious at the moment. I was meant to have help, but they lacked the barest amount of gray matter it takes to keep from getting looked up by excessive corporate malfeasance. So, I'm on my own here. Breaking my back, trying to buttress all these vines on top of all my other jobs. Oh, the bits I wouldn't pay for some of those mechs the Protectorate used to work this place. So, is there anything else, or can I get back to work? Really? Feel you're entitled to that information, do you? Because all these plants were unknown inside Auntie's Choice. And there's a good chance we can make something of them. Though I expect word any day that the big brains in R&D will have tweaked and twisted these plants so they're better than nature. Then we push the new product to market. And my contract says I get 0.00033427% of net after development, testing, packaging, advertising, and distribution costs. So you know, this is a pretty big deal for me. Quite the setup, ain't it? Before we took Fairfield, Auntie's Choice didn't have anything like this. Every kind of plant we've got was made to thrive in a chemical vat. But the Protectorate grows all their greens the old-fashioned way, with water and soil and actual fertilizer. I can't decide if it's adorably quaint or just plain daft. Then again, they all only have one job, so they have the time to indulge in all those sorts of archaic whimsies. Damn lucky Crabble copulators. Research mostly. Some wholesale. And as the base for some small batch, highly exclusive, limited edition retail runs. Though I expect word any day that the big brains in R&D will have tweaked and twisted these plants so they're better than nature. Then we push the new product on the market. And my contract says I get 0.00033427% of net after development, testing, packaging, advertising, and distribution costs. Well, I've got a lot left to do and not much time left to do it in, so you can show yourself out.
When might I begin laboring for Auntie? I so eagerly want to contribute to the plan.
Hit what in the where now?
Ditto on the bottle. Really takes the edge off.
You're back. Why? Well, I've got a lot left to do and not much time left to do it in, so you can show yourself out.
This Moon Man character of yours, is he some kind of off-world deity?
No, just sort of a mascot.
I see. So, is it Auntie that you give your undying and unquestioning loyalty to then?
Not exactly. I mean, Auntie is cunning and bold. I don't have a single bad thing to say about her. At least not out here in public. You know what I mean?
May the Sovereign... have a profitable day! What's all this talk I'm always hearing about middle and lower management?
Well, the middle...
You're back. Why? You read my terminal? How embarrassing. The compliance adjusters broke the door lock when they arrested my predecessor, and I haven't gotten around to fixing it yet. Not that I thought anyone had come snooping. I'd made careful arrangements to tie up everyone's loose ends. Everyone except you, it seems. So, why are you so interested in my other work? You're not part of compliance. Because Auntie's choice expects you to forge a path that's ambitious and self-deterministic, but not so much so that it disrupts other folks' ambition and self-determinism. Blah. I can't even fathom Auntie's economy if every eager go-getter operating on the gray edge of strictly legal suddenly closed up shop. Our whole society would fall to ruins. You know, I've been looking for some backfills with the kind of cleverness usually only found on the seedy lower decks of the claim. Feel like making a few bits? It's Auntie's flagship, where all the best movers, shakers, and up-and-coming ne'er-do-wells hone their killer instincts. Work for me and you may see it someday. Interested? I'm part of Sub Rosa. We're a group of merchants, information brokers, and commodity traders who deal outside the systems most folk are confined by. We're the best way to get things done in anti-space if you're looking for profit. Want to buy it, sell it, move it? We've got someone to do it for you. Huh, they were rubes, nitwits, dolts so lacking in faculties that they couldn't handle the minuscule, and by that I mean damn tiny, amount of discretion this job requires. They had to be dealt with so we could all get back to work. And now that I'm here, things will be running right smoothly. So, long as your brain pan's filled with more than a half-dead sprat spinning on a rusty wheel, I absolutely guarantee this is a no-risk venture. How tragic. You're worried about absolutely nothing. And that's gonna keep you from realizing one of the finest opportunities you've ever been offered. But I'll be here, helping to shape the future of commerce throughout the galaxy, if you ever come to your senses.
This paradigm thing you people are always going on about. Does it really improve your life?
Paradigm research supplies all we deserve.
Is it available in extra strength?
Ask them defectors if they miss anything about Protectorate life.
10 bits, they said community.
Yep.
Whether it's an orifice or a face, Auntie's choice makes a cream for it.
Whoa, Val. Watch where you're pointing that shooter of yours. You've been pitching a little uneven lately.
Since the fastball incident of '97, automechs are not permitted to participate in tossball games, leagues, or tournaments.
I mean, your aim's been off. Wouldn't want me or the good commander here catching any strays.
When attempting to capture a stray animal, approach slowly and quietly. If the animal senses danger, it may grow. Grow aggressive.
Know what? Forget I said anything. You're doing great.
Oh, what's this? Non-protectorate personnel just sauntering up onto my porch, free as they please. Admit I'm accustomed to a higher standard of precaution. State your purpose, outsider, or exit yon way you came. Well, that all sounds rather exciting, like something out of an Aetherwave serial, which I've watched only for official research purposes, of course. Most in the Protectorate don't know what the Earth Directorate is, you know. Suspect you've received a few blank stares if you've mentioned it afore. Anyhow, you travel freely. I'll forgo appealing to your sense of duty, as those outside the Protectorate lack such motivating principles. I presume you accept payment for services? In my role, I compile material providing special insight on other colonies. Items prohibited to others, news logs, serials, and the like. During recent troubles, unsavory elements removed certain items from my old office. Among them, a series which took considerable time to assemble. The Ministry of Accuracy, over the hill from here, where I formerly operated before the invasion. It is currently unoccupied by humans leastways. However, that, while unfortunate, remains inapplicable to matters at hand. It appears aforesaid unsavory elements sold the aforementioned materials. They now reside in the hands of indeterminate parties all across the island. A form of manipulatory ideation disguised as popular entertainment, intended to sway the audience to their point of view, couched within just a crackingly exciting narrative. Tell me, are you familiar with Science Adventures Quarterly, featuring Commander Zane and Buddy and other sensationalistic space stories? It was a popular fiction periodical from not long ago. Each of its 10 volumes featured an exhilarating cover illustration depicting Zane and Buddy's thrilling exploits. Whether they faced automechanical industrialists or robber magnates from the Plutocrian kleptocracy, their tales remained invigorating thrill rides. Sources placed them briefly in the hands of Sub-Rosa black marketeers. Yet who sold the materials to them or where they went afterward remains a mystery. The line represented a growth of the medium from the less sophisticated 2-bit dreadful, both in style and effectiveness. Its remarkable popularity not only mirrored a rise in public sentiment against greedy corporations and tyrannical governments across colonies, the brief window surrounding the volume's release saw a marked increase in skip drone requests for Earth Directorate aid. I believe there remains much to learn from them. Ah, quite right. In fact, delightful. Once you have one of the 10 periodicals in hand, I will trade you for rarities and bits. Stay true, outsider.
Ready to take the heat off you, Commander. Just say when.
Engaging vehicles.
Your insides are leaking outside, Commander. Let me know when you need a distraction.
No, Jackson, don't! Don't fret. With these boots, I can fly! Jackson, you're too young to be a crater in the dirt!
Oh, law, I can't believe he jumped that way.
Sir, I know this isn't the time, but are they gonna put us to the gallows for this?
What? No. That ain't how we operate in Auntie's Choice, Liza. We might be looking at a pretty fierce demotion for losing half our workforce and getting stuck up here, though.
Demotion to fertilizer?
No. Now cease your jawing. This ain't the time. Hey, you! You down there! Would you mind checking on our fellow? Might he have survived the fall? He thought those boots would make him fly, but they really just allowed the user to jump repeatedly. Unless their downward velocity is too great. If so, well, you see what happens. Dying, actually. Dying in a fairly slow, agonizing manner. We've been stuck atop this machine since Ida, one of our new Protectorate acquisitions, had her gray matter scrambled by the height, jumped down, and landed right in its gears. I can't fathom no sensible motive. She joined us shortly after Auntie liberated her with the freedom of meritocracy, and she seemed happy enough.
Were you not listening? She said she'd always be a loyal subject. It was part of the endless invocation we endured in the Protectorate. It can prove insurmountable for some.
The notion that she'd sacrifice herself, even after seeing the vast possibilities in staying alive and climbing the corporate ladder, it's just impossible to cognize. The reason Jackson tried using those plasma thruster boots was to gather a piece of machinery we'd spotted on a little table halfway up the spire.
It's a drive overloader. If we install it, we can push the platform's arm hard enough to... well, to grind old Ida out of the gears.
Though the power of that overloader will deluge the system and, well, overload the drive and turn it out all permanent-like. But desperate times and all that.
So if you were to use them boots to bound up the spire and deliver the overloader to us, we'd avoid the tragic fate of our two former cohorts.
Exactly! Because he had no idea how science works and thought the word thrusters meant he could fly. So when I told him to jump, he opted for open air instead of where I told him to go. They're experimental. We'd not laid eyes on them before, but the data we found with them says they were actually designed to let people hop their way up the spire. If you activate the plasma thrusters when you're already airbound, they can give you a fair bit of extra boost. It should let you turn a quick hop into a surprisingly grand vault. What? But that doesn't make any... Look, are you gonna help us or not?
Oh, thank the Sovereign... thank you, stranger. We are eagerly anticipating a long life utterly absent of starvation. you're by our crop of Brachythecium rutabulum. They're found in bandages and burn tinctures. If you don't have that drive overloader, ascending may be a waste.
That's it? It was that easy? That was some impressive climbing. Poor Jackson could have learned a thing or two from you. Starting with the right direction to jump, I suppose. Wonderful. Get us down, and I'll happily compensate you in accordance with standard Auntie's Choice urgently improvised extortive standards.
We've certainly found our way into a most harrowing circumstance, At least I'm glad I'm not alone. Poor Ida. She wasn't able to overcome a lifetime of protectorate programming. Well, thanks to you, she failed. And that's one last insult to the Sovereign I'm happy to oblige. He hadn't been here terribly long, so we weren't particularly familiar. Like me, he was also former Protectorate, but he was not raised in Fairfield, so we'd never met before. Still, he seemed like a friendly, kind sort, albeit a headstrong one. I'm sorry he's gone. Please do hurry. I've lost count of how many meals we've missed. It is closer to many than a few, and we're starving.